Okay, guys, so hello everyone. I hope that you guys reviewed the book we read in class yesterday. So let me see. Let me share my screen with you guys. Okay. So today's lesson is going to be about the rules of grammar, and you guys reviewed last night, hopefully, the book which was titled How to Talk to Your Computer. Okay, so today's lesson is going to be about grammar, and I'm going to ask you guys right now to reread pages 11 and 14. How can you tell that the robot is and the girl were excited? I'm going to give you a minute for you to read and think. So remember, read pages 11 and 14. How can you tell that the robot and the girl were excited? What do you see in the sentences that gives you a hint or a clue? Okay, so we see in pages 11 and 14 that the robot is excited because he's learning from the girl how to throw a ball. So we see that the girl is teaching him step by step how to throw a ball. So after knowing how to throw a ball, we see that the robot is finally able to do it by himself in the correct way. So we see that in the sentence, the robot expresses with very much excitement that he can throw a ball correctly. And referring to excitement, in English, we use this punctuation mark for excitement. So whenever we are excited or something happy is gonna happen, for when we're gonna write it in a sentence, we're gonna use this exclamation point. That is how it's called, an exclamation point, to express the feeling that we have of excitement and happiness. So another punctuation mark that we use a lot in sentences is this one right here. This one is a question mark, and we use it obviously whenever we are writing a question, and that is how the reader that is going to read our sentence or whatever we're going to write knows that we are asking a question, right? So another punctuation mark that we use in grammar is this little one right here, is called a period. So we use a period in many sentences. For example, a period, we can use it whenever we're saying a statement. For example, Joshua likes to eat pasta, period. So we're using a period mark there because we're not making a question or we're not expressing something with excitement. Okay? Another component of grammar is capital letters. So we use capital letters in names, pronouns, and whenever we are starting a sentence. All right, guys, do we understand? Any questions? Remember, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat right there, and I will answer them if you need. Okay, next. Okay, so correct grammatical sentences. So these are some correct grammatical sentences that have no errors in punctuation or in spelling. So the first one says, I am in a good mood today. So what does this mean? It means that I am excited and I am feeling very happy. And what punctuation I'm going to use here? An exclamation mark. Why? Because I am excited and I want to express it in the sentence I am writing. So the next sentence is, what is the capital of Japan? So here we have two rules applied. We have the question mark applied and a capital letter in the word Japan. Why did we use a question mark here? We used a question mark in this sentence because we are asking a question. What are we asking? We are asking what is the capital of the country Japan. Now, why did we use a capital letter in Japan? Well, because Japan is a country. And in countries, we use capital letters to define that it is a country. So we also use the capital letter in the word what. Why did we use a capital letter in the word what? Because it is the first word and the first letter that is starting off the sentence. Okay? So the third sentence says, why did Johnny eat 2 plates of lunch today? So here we are using an exclamation, a question mark as well, because we are asking another question. We are asking, why did Johnny eat 2 plates of lunch? Well, maybe because he was too hungry. So here, we're asking a question, we're formulating a question, and that is why we are using a question mark. Everyone good? Okay. Okay, so how can we do this correctly? So in this word bank, we have the words, 3 words. Number 1 is it's, number 2 is if, and the other one is long. Here we have 3 sentences, and I am going to fill out the blanks so you guys can see the correct word that goes with each sentence. Okay, so in this sentence right here, we have the cat chased blank tail. So let's see, the cat chased if tail, that doesn't go right. I don't think so. The cat chased its tail. That sounds correct because it's mean, when we're using the word it's, we are referring to something that belongs to us or something regarding about us in this case. So what if we use long? Let's see. The cat chased long tail. Well, that doesn't sound correct. So the correct word we're going to use here is it's. It's. So we write here, the cat chased its tail. Okay, the next sentence. It says, blank, you finished your homework, you can go play. Let's see. If we use it's, it would read, it's you finished your homework, you can go play. It doesn't sound correct because if we're using the word you, we're referring to someone, a person. So it doesn't make sense if we use the word it's, because it's in this case would be referring to something. And a person is not something, it's a human being. So let's see, if we use the word if, it would read, if you finish your homework, you can go play. That sounds correct. Let's see, what about long? Long, you finish your homework, you can go play. Well, the correct one here will be the word if. Why would we use if here? Because if you do something, then you have the chance to do what you want. For example, in this sentence, if you finish your homework, you can go play outside. So another thing that I want to highlight in this sentence is that I use a capital letter in the word if. Even though it's not capital in the word bank, I used it here. Why do you think I used the capital letter in the word if in this sentence? So can anyone write it down in the group chat, in the chat here? Please. Why do you think there's no I'm not going to judge. There's no wrong answer. You guys are learning. So just tell me, why do you think I use a capital letter here if it's not in the word bank? If in the word bank is lowercase. So why do you think? Okay. Okay, correct. So I used the capital letter I in the word if right here mainly because it is the first word and we're starting this sentence with the word if. So remember, whenever you are starting a sentence, the first letter of the first word has to be capital, regardless whatever word it is, type of word it is. Okay, moving on. So the third sentence says, the giraffe has a blank necklace. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So let's see. The giraffe has its neck. No, that doesn't sound right because it just doesn't, it's doesn't go with neck and it doesn't go with the sentence at all. So the giraffe has a if neck. No, because the word if is referring to something that will have a cause and effect. For example, in the last sentence. So let's see, the giraffe has a long neck. Well, using common sense, you know that a giraffe is an animal that has a very long neck. So in this case, in this sentence, it would sound right if we use the word long. The giraffe has a long neck. Okay, so is everyone with me? Is everyone good? Understanding? Okay, moving on. Let me erase this. Okay, how do I go back? Let me go back and erase this, the words I wrote. Okay, moving on. Okay, so now we're going to find the error in this slide. We have 4 sets of sentences. We're going to find which ones have the error. There are 2 sentences that have an error and 2 sentences that are spelled and written grammatically correct. Okay, guys, so we're going to do this together, okay? So I'm going to read the 4 sentences out loud and you guys follow along and you're going to write in the group chat which ones do you think are the ones that have the errors. So you can write number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay. So the first sentence says, I felt good mood today, period. The second one says, can we eat pasta for lunch? Exclamation point. The third one says, Nicole has rice with chicken for dinner, period. The fourth one says, I had little homework to do today, period. Okay, guys, so write down in the group chat and I'm going to ask if Nicole can read, please, while your classmates are writing in the chat what are the errors. If you can reread the 4 sentences out loud, please. And just a reminder, if you guys can please have your cameras on so that way I feel that I am not talking to myself, please, and I can see what you guys are doing and we feel engaged, please. Thank you very much. So Nicole, can you please go ahead and read the 4 sentences again, please? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole. So I am reading through the chat here and I am seeing that some of you guys are correct and are finding the correct errors. You guys are really smart and I'm very proud of you guys because we are not even finished with this lesson and you guys are already getting the hang of it. So I'm very proud of you guys and yeah, thank you so much for paying attention. Okay, so the error we find here there are many errors actually that we find. So the first one is in the first sentence. The first sentence says, I felt good mood today. So what is wrong here? So we see here that, first of all, if we read it out loud to ourselves, we see that doesn't sound right. So the correct way to write this sentence would be, I felt in a good mood today. Period. Okay, so why in the first place did I put a period there? Well, because I am making a statement of how I felt and what I think, right? Okay, so the next sentence says, can we eat pasta for lunch today? So the error here that we see is that we are formulating a question. When we are formulating a question, we don't want to use a period or an exclamation point. We want to use a question mark. Why? Because it is the sign that we are asking a question, right? So here, since we are asking a question, we are going to use a question mark. So we're going to say, can we eat pasta for lunch, right? Oops, lunch. Question mark. Can we eat pasta for lunch? Okay. Next sentence. It says, Nicole has rice with chicken for dinner. Okay, so here the error is in one word, and the word is has. So we're not using has as a word when we're describing in this sentence something that happened already. So the past word, in the past sense that we use for the word has is had with a D, H-A-D. So here, since we're saying that Nicole had rice with chicken for dinner, we're saying that she had it, she already ate it. So something from the past. So we're gonna use here, Nicole had rice with chicken for dinner, correct? Why are we using a period? Because we are not asking a question and we are not saying something with excitement. We're just saying a statement. I'm gonna leave this one right here. We know is that this sentence is the correct one for this one. Okay, the fourth and last sentence. It reads, I had a little homework to do today. So do you guys think this one has any errors at all? Oops. Correct. This sentence has no errors at all. Okay, next one. I'm gonna take everything out. Oops. Okay. Okay, now you're gonna try it on your own. I'm gonna help you if you need any help. Okay. So the first sentence says first of all, we have 4 sentences here. We are going to fill in the blanks with the correct letter or punctuation mark. Okay, guys? So go ahead and write it on your paper, write it on the chat. What is the correct answer for each sentence? Okay, so I'm gonna give you a minute for you to do that. Okay, so for the first sentence, we see that we have 2 M's, an uppercase and a lowercase m. So since this word is the first word of the sentence, we are going to use the letter M uppercase. Why? Because it's the first letter and word of the sentence. So here we're going to use uppercase M. M. Correct. Uppercase M for Martha. Marta is happy because it's sunny outside. Okay, the next sentence. The most modern country in the world is, well, lowercase or uppercase J. So we are describing a country. And if we're using a country in a sentence, we know that it must go with a low uppercase letter. So in this case, uppercase J. Why? Because it is a country. It doesn't matter if it's in the last word or the first word of a sentence. If it's a country, it has to go uppercase. Okay. So the third sentence says, should we go play outside since it's raining? So are we asking a question? We're making a statement. Well, in this sentence, we are asking a question. We're asking if we could go play outside if it's raining. Well, if we're asking a question, we're going to use a question mark here. So they know that we are asking a question. Okay, last sentence. The thunder is scaring Martha. Okay, so here we are asking a question. Are we saying something that is exciting, or are we just making a statement? So here we're not asking a question. We're not saying nothing exciting, definitely. And we are just making a statement. What are we saying? That Martha was frightened by the thunder. All right, there. Okay, going to erase all of that. Okay, everyone good? Remember, if you have any questions, just write them in the chat and I will happily answer questions. For those of you who need 5 minutes of break, you can go ahead, get 5 minutes of break. Okay. But first, can you please stay 1 more minute here? I'm going to explain the assignment you guys have to do, and then if you want, you can have 5 minutes of break and then start working on the assignment. For those of you who think that this assignment is too much for you or that you want to do it with someone else, it's definitely okay to work in groups. So if you guys want to work with someone else so you can concentrate more and help each other out, just let me know and I will group you together. Okay, so for this assignment, I am going to explain. You have a worksheet here, and for those of you, you know who you are. I sent you out specific a differentiated worksheet that is on your language that you can understand. Feel free to do any accommodations. You can print it out. Okay, so in this worksheet, we're going to fill in the blanks, just how we've been doing it all along. You have a word bank with many words. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences. So you're going to complete the sentences using the words in the word bank only. You're not going to make up any words, okay? All of these sentences are statements, so you're not going to correct any punctuation, okay? So you're just going to fill in the blank with words, okay, guys? So before I set you off free to do the assignment, I'm going to give a little brief summary of what we learned today. So today we learned some rules of grammar. For example, we use different punctuation marks for different types of sentences. One sentence can be of excitement. We're really joyful about something, really excited. So when we're really excited, we use an exclamation point, which is the first one here. When we're formulating a question, we use a question mark because we're asking a question, correct? Another punctuation mark that we use in grammar is a period. Why do we use a period? It is something we often use because in most times we are just making a statement. We are not asking a question, we're not saying something exciting or anything like that. So we just use a period. So something else we learned today was about capital letters. So capital letters are used in pronouns, names, and beginning of each sentence, and also in countries. The words of countries, the first letter goes in capital letters. Okay, guys? So this is all for today, guys, and I'm really glad you guys understand and I'm very proud of all the correct answers you guys dropped down in the chat. Keep doing what you're doing. feel free to ask me any questions. I am available, and thank you guys for being here, and I appreciate you all very much. Okay, so my reflection questions. Why did you make the choices you did for this lesson? I chose language arts because it was a subject that is easier to teach in first grade, and it was a subject that was easy according to the book I chose. I tried making the assessments easy because I think that writing a paragraph will extend their grammar and writing skills. What was the most difficult part about planning this lesson? The hard part was looking for different strategies for the students with more than a typical behavior, because I felt that I had to give a different strategy for each student, and I found that a little challenging, but yeah. So what are your plans for Microteach number 2? What will you do again? What will you change? So for Microteach 2, I will keep the same strategies for the students with behavior challenge, and I will change my DOK questions and relate them more to the assignment and to the parts where we all do it together and the part where I do it alone, and I will try to ask more questions so they can gain more knowledge. And yeah, so that is it for me.